What is going on, everybody? Hello and welcome to T-Box Talk episode 6. My name's Andrew, and as always, I'm going to be joined today by Josh and Will. Today's episode being recorded a little early because Josh is going away to Florida on an awesome trip to Disney World and Universal's. And today's episode, we're going to be doing some riffing, and then we're going to go into what are we watching, as well as the podium of Sunday/lazy day activities. We're going to follow that with some tales from the golf course, as well as some outros and behind the scenes at OMADA Golf. Guys, we just came back from an awesome lunch. Around here, we kind of live in like a smaller town-ish area. It's tough to find good restaurants. And Izumi in Attleboro, Massachusetts, my God, that place is awesome.
Big shout out.
Yeah. That place is fire.
Yeah.
I only got into sushi this year.
Really?
I never ate sushi before this year. And now it's like, I love it. It's
Get out of
awesome.
here.
Yeah.
Was it like were you just afraid? Did you not like fish or did just not into it?
No, for some reason, I just thought I'd get sick. Like, I was like, oh, raw fish, can't do it. And then I, actually grew a pair of balls, and I was like, all right, I can do this.
It has that kind of raw fish thing. Like, nobody, it just sounds like a bad thing to get sick from, you know?
Yeah.
Like a rancid
It's probably the worst.
fish.
Yeah, it's like probably the worst food poisoning you can get. I feel like it's like raw food, fish in general.
And everybody, I feel like everybody knows somebody who has, like, a raw fish experience or, like,
so I had
a sickness.
When I first started, like, the first time I ever had sushi, I tried raw fish, and you know what happened? I got sick for, like, 2 straight days. But you know what I found out it was? Chronic appendicitis.
So not the fish. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is actually a funny story. Well, it's not a funny story. It's a funny story because you're
hilarious,
okay now.
dude. I almost died, and Colucci thinks it's a funny story.
It was move-in weekend for sophomore year at school, and like Josh we moved in early because we were gonna do the move-in crew. It was like a way to get to campus early, and Josh didn't show up the second day, and I knew he wasn't really feeling that well. And all of a sudden, I get a call from his mom, and she's like, Andrew, is Josh okay? Like, he just called me. He's on the way to the hospital. Josh was having his appendix burst, or was it about to burst?
It was, it's hard to, it was chronic appendicitis. So it's a very rare thing. It actually saved my life. I'm not even kidding. Like,
Let's hear
so normal appendicitis, it's about to burst, right?
Yeah.
And that pain is so incredible. Like, it's like
you never let it burst.
Yeah, right. Anybody who's had it happen, like, knows the pain of it. Like, it's like a pain where, like, it's like you got been shot. You can't move. Like, and what I ended up having was a chronic appendicitis. So every month or so, I would have, or every couple of months. No, it was like every month I would get this thing where this flare up. I would go 11 hours straight of the pain of appendicitis, but it would never burst.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it would just reoccur every month.
That's terrifying.
So, like, they said that basically, like, if it wasn't chronic appendicitis, because I pushed myself through all this, I never went to the hospital for this. I'd experienced this, I think it ended up being like 9 or 10 times. And I never went to the hospital for it because every time I was about to, it would subside.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird. And then they couldn't diagnose me with anything. They didn't know what it, like, doctors didn't know what the fuck it was. But it ended up being actually, I went through a lot of pain, but it saved my life.
Yeah, but it was funny because, like, instead of, like, because I was there, instead of calling me and asking me to bring him to the hospital, he decided while he was keeled over in pain to just drive himself to New Haven Yale Hospital.
I'm surprised Josh didn't ride his electric longboard there.
That would have been a sight to see. That would have been so funny.
I sprinted across like 3 baseball fields, and I was like,
yeah, because they didn't let us park near it. They didn't let us park.
Bro,
near
I went. Not kidding you. I went 120 miles an hour on the highway, and I was going like 60 miles an hour in the city, and I was like, I don't know, like how I made it there. I have no idea. I blacked out in pain. I was just like on autopilot.
Yeah.
And then when I got there, a bunch of little like Yale New Havenites just like came up to me in the hospital and they just go, "Want to do a test on you?" So they started like sticking me with stuff. They brought over a school of like 30 kids. They shot me with morphine and then like just started doing. And then the doc comes out and goes, "You need to have emergency surgery right now." And then like he left and like for an hour, like then they came back and kept doing more little things on me.
Little
like
tests, yeah.
It was weird.
Well, it's a teaching hospital at Yale New Haven, so like it's like tough. It's like whenever you go in there, there's always just eyes on you.
Gotcha.
I'm on the phone like, Mom, like, I hope I make it through the surgery. I go, we want to test on you. Can our students, they want to like learn, like,
can they poke and prod you?
Yeah, I wasn't even in a room. I was in a hallway in the middle of the hospital, like on like a fucking
People were just like stabbing you. With
yeah.
Yeah, no, that was fucked. I once thought I was having an appendicitis, and I fully convinced myself I was having an appendicitis. I'm kind of like a hypochondriac like that. I start looking up things online, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I have stomach cancer. It's that simple. It's
never WebMD yourself.
Never.
I know.
Never. It
Never.
all leads to cancer, the big
It
C.
Or
all
heart
does.
attacks.
Yeah, or death.
If you have anxiety, you've had that moment where you saw like online.
You look
like,
it up, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Heart
you're
attack.
dead. You're dead. Now you're breathing? Nope, dead.
And then I just like laid down. I laid down. I was like, this is it. Turns out I was just massively constipated.
Thanks for sharing that with the world, Colucci.
Hey, you know what? It's just for all those people who think they're having appendicitis. You might just be constipated.
Been there.
Yeah. Well, my diet is so bad that it happens sometimes.
Well,
Whatever.
chops, mozzarella sticks can only take you so far, you know.
Don't be hating. Don't be hating. What else we got? For some anything cool going on, Josh? How excited are you for Florida?
Ah, dude, I'm so pumped up. Like, honestly, like, you know what sucks though is like I was just saying this. The weather just got good. We walked out of the office today. It was like 90 degrees outside or 80 degrees, and it's been like 50 or colder for the last I feel like it's been 6 years.
I feel like it's been a long, like, not winter, but the cold has persisted.
Yes.
Deeper, because I remember like years ago, and it fluctuates every year, but I remember getting out on the golf course in March and it was much
too.
warmer than
Me
it
too.
was this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then April was even the same. I feel like April didn't get any better.
When I was in college, Andrew and I were playing winter golf because the weather was prohibiting it.
Yeah, that was. I think it was senior
Sorry.
year. We got really lucky because like we had like a really warm winter senior
Yeah.
year, and like we were able to golf all the time. And that was like peak COVID too. So like it was the only thing you could do. So like it was it was an incredible save. I actually got a couple golf related stuff that I wanted to fly by you guys. Have you heard about the Phil Mickelson gambling stuff yet?
No.
I mean, what like
So
Like
so
him gambling?
everybody,
I know
everybody
he's a
knows
big-
he's like a big gambler, right?
Yeah.
So he got audited, and because he was wrapped up in something. I don't know the details of it, so I don't want to get out false stuff. But there was an audit done, and they reported that between the years of 2010 and 2014, he lost $40 million in gambling.
Which year
Wow.
was this?
2010 and 2014, $40 million he lost
2010.
gambling.
It's like $10 million a year.
That is absurd.
Holy shit.
You can't. It's like hard to grasp that number. It's
Yeah.
like I can't. Like I get upset when I lose like a $50 bet.
I mean, some businesses it's like a sizable business. At $10 million a year, like you're like, that's a good business. You know, really good. That's like only a very small percentage of businesses make it to 5 or 10 million.
yeah, I don't know what's going on with our boy Phil, but like he's just getting dragged through the mud, and like, it started with the Saudi stuff, and now he found his whole personal life is just coming out to the public.
Well, he's
Crazy.
buck wild. I mean, he's unhinged. He's Phil Mickelson. He doesn't give a fuck. If by some miracle Phil Mickelson ever sees anything coming from this, Phil, I want you to know you're the fucking man. I love everything you do. I'm enjoying it. I keep doing it. Keep being reckless. Keep on giving content to all of us. Keep the drama going. I'm all about it. You're the fucking man.
Does Phil sit higher on Josh's scale of golf more than Bryson DeChambeau?
I think he's done far more for the game than Bryson DeChambeau has. All honesty, I think golf is one of those sports where like I hate that like side of it that's kind of snobby, and everybody knows that, the elitist side of it.
Yeah.
So any player that comes into golf and gets views from non-golfers or entertains, or even just is good for the sport, like Tiger Woods, for instance, like I'm all for.
Yeah.
Like I don't, all the little shit, like why is it bad? You do realize, okay, this is a pretty wild thing. You're telling me that Phil Mickelson lost $10 million a year in gambling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a big number for any regular person or any like person who's still on Earth and like living in
Reality.
yeah, reality. Like that's a lot of money, yes. But remember one thing is that like most of those guys take putts. We watched Scottie Scheffler lose, or no, he didn't lose it. Who was it?
The guy Cameron Smith was in second place, missed a putt to lose sole possession of second.
Which was how much?
I think it's like over $1 million swing.
So that's my point. Is like these guys, like especially you're talking about one of the best golfers ever. He has more sponsorships, more branded deals, and more winnings on the tour than probably like 99% of people on the PGA Tour. And all my point is, and I'm really getting at, is guys like Michael Jordan, who they claim have a gambling problem. If they gamble $10 million a year, it's because they make fucking 200, or they make whatever.
Yeah, it's all percentage.
It's all
based.
relative to.
It is.
Yeah, because it's no fun for them to gamble $100.
Right.
It's like me going out and gambling $10 and losing it.
But his game.
Yeah, exactly.
What he does for a living.
Percentage based.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all percentage.
What he does for a living, by the nature of it, is a gamble. Golf is not a sport that you can be like, look, there have maybe been a handful of people that come out onto golf and just sweep the floor. But even those people can't win everything. So when you go out into a golf course as a PGA professional, every fucking hit is a gamble. Every match is a gamble.
Yeah.
So
to think that they gamble on their spare time does not surprise me. As long as it's not on fucking cards. If it's on golf, I get that. But
no, I think that's totally different. You can't gamble.
Michael Jordan's thing was on the golf course. He was doing like
I'm talking like if he's gambling on himself, like if he's placing, and he's not doing
no. I'm talking about Michael Jordan had a gambling problem, and people chalked up to this or that. But the story that came out was about him and some other random person who was just like he belonged to the country club and just gambled a lot with him.
Yeah, they were like competitive,
right?
Competitive betting.
Is that the kind of gambling you're talking about with Phil? Or
I don't know. If it's being found in an audit, it's got to be something more than that, right? Because like that wouldn't come up in an audit.
So that corrupts my whole thing.
Like he's just got to.
I mean, I guess the nature of the risk makes sense if they like to gamble, but if you're spending $10 million a year on cards, or sports betting,
yeah, or slot machines,
that's scary.
Just pumping 10 mil for a slot machine.
Even him. I mean, you can have as much money in this world as there is to have, but you can always spend it. You can always spend more of it.
I know Josh isn't like the biggest gambler in the world, like when it comes to casinos. But Will, where do you fall with casinos?
I'm actually pretty reserved. I haven't been to a casino in quite a while. My dad used to work for Mohegan Sun, and so we would see a lot of shows there. We'd go there a lot just to hang out. But I'm a big fan of just like going in, throwing $20 at a slot machine, and if you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. So we went and saw Steely Dan at Mohegan Sun a few years ago before COVID hit, and we walked out of the show, and I had a 20 in my pocket. So I threw, I think on my last, I don't know if it was my last or my second to last spin, I was only doing like dollar slots. I banged it. I didn't bang, well, you know what I mean. Last spin, second to last spin, $120 cashed out left.
Beautiful. I wish I had the reserve to be able to walk away, but I don't. I'm terrible at the casino.
This is actually a pretty interesting topic. When I was out, I've been to Vegas 3 times this year. And my thing is, I don't gamble a lot of money, but the way I gamble is very reckless, and it's intentionally reckless. Like, I'll give you an example. There's this one game, Andrew, because I think I've now done it. I've done it with you, right?
Yeah, we played it that first night.
It's live roulette, but you're doing it from a machine. So like instead of having to be at the table and the pressure of like having to play every hand, and the high bet, the buy-ins are like 15 minimum in most places, 10 maybe, but more so like it's usually in like the 25 to 50 range. But at least at Encore in Boston. But there's this other thing where when you do it live, you can do independent like $1, $2, $3, $5 bets instead of doing a minimum of 10, 15, 25.
Yeah. And
so you can start with a very little amount of money and you can work your way up to a lot. But the way I gamble is I put in like $100. I've gotten up to 700 or 800. But every time I get there, I want to feel like a high roller. I don't need to be a high roller. I need to feel like I got the juice. So I'll once I get up to that point, I always just take $300 or $400 or $500 out of my stack and I fucking gamble it all away on red.
That's like my gut. I'm not going to name any names. That's the same thing my buddy does. Every time he walks into a casino, he takes out $100 and he throws it on red or black.
It's how you start the
night. That's it. Like if he wins, he wins. If he loses, and he walks away.
I used to do it like that, but that started to piss me off because then I'd just be standing there watching everybody else do their thing. I like this little machine because I can start with small dollars, warm up. I can look at the analytics behind on the board of like, okay, is it 52% red? What are my odds? What's the play? What's the sequence, red, black, or whatever? I bet accordingly, and I literally have won so much money, but I just fucking have this like tick in my personality where I get to 700, and I want to hit like a big hand and make it 1,000.
Yeah.
But I literally am not
that's
kidding
gambling.
you.
Exactly.
In Vegas, I did it. I went up and down 6 different times. So like I went up to 700 and I gambled 300. Went back down to like 300 or 400 or whatever the bet was. And I went back up, back down, back up, back down. 6 straight times I lost on red because it went black every time.
No shit.
Only on the hands that
you
I
went
put 300.
crazy on.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Vegas is fun. I mean, like casinos are fun, but you just, I don't know. It's like you said, you just got to be reserved. It's that simple. But you also want to have fun, and sometimes getting really risky is fun. I don't know. It's bet responsibly, please. It's a dangerous thing, but it's also.
I've only ever brought in $100. Really.
Yeah,
I've never
same
gambled
thing.
more than
Well,
that.
the second you bring in the plastic, that's when you go wrong. Like when I lose the cash, I'm like to the machine.
I don't have that problem. I've never had that
Same.
problem.
Yeah.
It's $100. I either go in, prepared to lose it all, the whole 100, and if I have more by the end of it, then I reinvest it.
Yeah, it's it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Let's roll in, boys, to some what do we watch? Unless we got anything else. I know, Will, you were talking about Danny Woodhead, former NFL superstar, used to play on the Patriots. Actually, is trying to qualify for the U.S. Open, right?
Yeah, I didn't read much into it. I actually that screenshot I sent you guys this morning, a friend actually sent to me, and he was like, "You should feature this on the podcast." So.
Yeah, I'm a huge Danny Woodhead fan. He was part of the Patriots 2011 Super Bowl run team. Unfortunately, they fell short, but he's a really cool guy, and he was really good at football. And he's trying to qualify for the U.S. Open. He's on like the final qualifying stage. It's weird. I don't really know how it works, but it'll be pretty cool to see him if he actually gets to compete.
Was he a running back?
Yes, he was kind of like a variety player. So he played running back, but he was a really good receiving back, is what they call it.
Gotcha.
So like they would like he can run like wide receiver routes, but also run the ball.
Because I did see on Instagram, this was unrelated to the article my buddy sent me, but literally before we went to lunch today, I saw something on my Instagram feed that was about Danny Wood, and it was that he shot like a 71, like even par.
Yeah, that's why he's moving on to the next stage.
Okay, yeah, that makes
I was
sense.
doing a little bit of research. It kind of reminds me of Tony Romo. Tony Romo did the same thing. Tony Romo is like technically kind of on the PGA Tour. It's weird. He'll like compete in tournaments here and there. He's like allegedly really, really good at golf.
I mean, but that's literally why I love golf so much. I think it's why my whole life I love golf. Ever since I was a kid and end up, when I'm an old man, hopefully I get there. I think I'll still love golf because the idea that you can come from, we all grow up doing, or many of us grow up loving athletics, loving getting outside. I dirt biked, Andrew and I dirt biked for a lot of years. We played baseball, basketball, football, all these things. You get to a point where, I don't have an interest in slamming into somebody in football at 24. Like, it doesn't make sense as it's not my job, to do that. And I'm not being paid for it. But at the same time, that competitive element to golf allows you to go into new landscapes. Business, it goes from like all the little sports to like you can do business, you can do vacation, it can just be a fun thing you do. You can take your girlfriend or your significant other out, or one of your best friends or something like it. There's just so many landscapes to use golf. It's like food, like I've always said that is like a means to connect with other people.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like golf is really one of those games that you can play for like almost the entirety of your life.
Exactly.
And it goes back to what you're saying. Like you're not going to be crashing into people playing football at 65 years old.
Exactly.
No.
So it's a lifetime gig. Something
Right.
you can do. You can be competitive. You can gamble on it. You can watch it. You can be a part of it.
Or
Anybody
you can just play casually and just have fun. Like I know a bunch of people are getting into it right now, and they're like sending me like Snapchats from the driving range. Shout out Brad. Like he's getting good. Like he's having fun with it, man. And
You can also always improve.
Exactly.
Okay, whoa, we got to take a little time to appreciate. Dude, I walked in today, and so did Will and Colucci. We've been working on draws, fades, shaping the ball, low fades, high fades. Walk in, he's fucking striping a 7-iron, 170, and just dead straight ball flight, perfect apex height, flush to the screen, does it 6 times in a row.
Talk to him.
It was unbelievable. This is one of the greatest days of my life to walk into something like that. So congrats, Andrew.
Golf
Fuck
clap.
yeah.
Golf clap for Colucci. Okay.
Hey, I'm learning. Let's just hope that I can actually take it from the simulator to the course. I think I'm going to be able to, but we will see.
Yes.
Let's roll into some What Are We Watching, boys. I know we didn't do it last week, so I know we all probably got some things. Will, get us started.
Sure. So I actually just started this show last night, and it was a recommendation from my mom. Shout out, Mom. Always shout out, Mom. All right. It's called The Staircase. It's on HBO. I don't know if you guys have seen that on your HBO Max apps.
I have not.
So it's a crime drama. My mom loves crime drama. So I know if I get a recommendation from her, it's going to be something like Law and Order type. But this was actually based on a true story out of South or North Carolina. And I don't want to divulge much because I've only seen one episode. But what I will tell you is that it's about this famous author, Michael Peterson. And basically, he's kind of taken a step back from writing. And he wants to run for like local mayor or something. He wants to get into politics because he apparently disagrees with a lot of the stuff going on in his town. Woo. So long story short, like I said, I don't want to divulge much, but him and his wife are enjoying a great night. They're celebrating. His wife goes inside. They've been drinking all night. He goes in 30 minutes later and finds her dead at the bottom of the stairs. And what he thinks is that she fell down the stairs. And so meanwhile, the local PD investigates. They start to call it a crime scene. The autopsy comes back. They lie about the autopsy. And basically, from what I gathered, the local PD is trying to fabricate a story where Michael Peterson killed his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I assume the next, several episodes will be is, he gets indicted essentially, and now he's going to be battling, to save his life, basically from spending in prison, around the murder of his wife. And so what moral of the story conclusion here, I definitely think she was murdered. But I don't think it was by Michael Peterson. Again, only saw the first episode, but it is. I give it a 7 out of 10 right now because I've only seen one episode.
It's
but
the exact IMDb rating score, by the way.
7.
Yep.
It's very engaging. So if you like crime drama, like that type of stuff, like this is the show for you. Again, I don't want to give too much away. There's a lot of information.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. If it is super realistic, gory,
it is. It is.
Yeah, I was just looking at the IMDb page and looking at the parental guidance rating or something, and it was all profanity severe, violence severe, scary
I don't have
severe.
a problem with all that. Honestly, the only thing I can't watch is I can't entertain serial killer shit.
It's not serial. I mean, it very well could be.
I just can't.
But I don't think it is that. But again, this is based on a true story that happened in the early 2000s. So this happened. I don't know how accurate this story is going to be to what actually happened. I assume probably pretty accurate. But if it's a recommendation from my mom, it's probably going to be good.
Yeah,
so.
I'm going to check this out, and I'll tell you why. I've actually been seeing clips from this show all over TikTok. So that's how I find most of the shit that I watch. So I've been seeing it all over TikTok, so I'm definitely going to check this out. I love this shit, that suspenseful stuff and the whodunits. My recommendation to you, though, is don't look up any facts about the case online.
I'm not going to, no.
Because
my girlfriend was looking up stuff during the show.
No,
but I just want to, some people do that. I know people did it with Game of Thrones. They want to learn more about, the backstories and all that stuff. But Game of Thrones is a bad analogy to refer to this. But,
but it's funny you mentioned Game of Thrones because for my What Are You Watching, I kind of, instead of doing a show, because I've been watching The 100. I'm not going to talk about it because we did it a couple weeks ago. And Josh,
if I hear that one more time, dude, I'm going to pass out.
I'm blazing through it. I'm on season 5. It's a great show. But for me, what I'm really excited about, or not excited about, is a couple trailers that have been coming out. And Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, the Targaryen show, the official trailer dropped. And I'm one of those people that fall into the camp that I am so upset with the ending of Game of Thrones that I might boycott this show.
Yeah, and so 2 things.
I'm such a bitch for that, but that's what it is.
2 things. Sansa from original Game of Thrones is in The Staircase. So
oh, no way.
Just a tidbit. But also, I saw the trailer as well, I think 2 or 3 times now. I think it's going to be hard. If I watch this, it's going to be hard for me to get past that it's not the same actors as Game of Thrones. I think it already threw me off from the trailers.
Well, because especially Game of Thrones was like, when you first picked it up, it was hard to follow who was who and stuff. By the end of it, I was like a mega fan. I'd watched the show like 3 times leading up to that final season. I kept rewatching it to get prepared for the final season. And then the final season just put a knife in my chest, dude. And I was like, I felt personally fucked by it. But I might, lose my sour grapes and actually watch the damn show, the new House of the Dragon. But I'm not sure yet.
I'm going to give it a shot. But speaking to season 8, season 8 is not a friend of the podcast.
No.
Not a friend of the podcast.
I hope one day they just go back and redo it.
I don't think it's going to happen. The problem is that the guy, when they were writing Game of Thrones, the author,
George R.R.,
was supposed to write more books, and he never did.
Or my theory is that he let them do that to see what the reaction would be to the ending, and then he's going to change the ending of his book when he actually finishes the Game of Thrones book.
That's a fair theory.
Like, people are so mad about the ending of Game of Thrones that he's probably going to change it now.
What do you think, Josh?
Books.
You saw Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, I mean,
what's your opinion? Because some people are polar, like left or right on season 8, even season 7 too.
They rushed it, dude.
Honestly, I don't really think they rushed it. I don't have that sort of intense opinion on it. I remember watching The Sopranos and seeing the controversy over the way that ended. I liked The Sopranos ending. I thought it made complete sense. And it's pretty obvious that like what they meant is what they meant. And the only reason I bring that up is because it's one of the more controversial endings of a show and in relation to Game of Thrones. I just think that I think with a show like that, they broke the stratosphere on what is possible for modern, what's the word? What category would you?
Like sci-fi?
Not sci-fi, imagination, like what?
Fantasy. Yeah.
They broke the stratosphere when it comes down to fantasy for me, and I think that they should have. I think is irrelevant, but I do think that they had these really like sharp story points and features of like people. The whole fucking cast dies off before the last episode, minus like 4 or 5 characters, and I would have loved to have seen something that would have like left me blown away. Like, for instance, if the Night King had fucking won, I would have loved to have seen like just like something I'd never seen before. Like give me something that was crazy. And they opted for a very entertaining episode. But my ultimate favorite was when what's his face, the big fucker, the Mountain, pulls his brother. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Sir Gregor.
Sir Gregor.
Well, Sir Gregor Monster Fucker or whatever that guy is.
Bowl.
Yeah. When he pulls his brother off that and then it goes into the fire, for me, that was the ending that I was looking for.
Yeah,
I was happy with that.
That was sick, yeah.
Yeah, the Game of Thrones community called it the Clegane Bowl, and it didn't disappoint. That was pretty cool. But like just like you said, like imagine if the Night King won. Like the reason, like, the fan theories for how the show was going to end was better than the actual ending. Like, the Night King winning would have been freaking sick. But I'm not going to... I could talk about this for hours because I was a huge Game of Thrones fan. But Game of Thrones House of the Dragon trailer looks pretty cool. Stranger Things Season 4 also set to come out at the end of this month.
We'll see how that goes. It took 3 seasons for Game of Thrones really to develop into what it was. So for them to come out with a new show, the same thing as The Lord of the Rings, the same thing as Obi-Wan, the same thing as there's another show that just came out. I'll just use Marvel as an example. Like sometimes,
yeah, they're just rolling shit.
Yeah,
out.
like you keep trying to do stuff. You keep trying to bring stuff out, but you've lost that like magic that was already there from Iron Man and the first couple of movies. It's like because Doctor Strange, the new movie, poor reviews. Obi-Wan, critics, poor reviews. I'm trying to think. Sequel, anything that you can think of?
Well, it's hype. It's like, so like it kind of goes back to Thrones. Is the Game of Thrones ending was never going to be good because the people were so fucking crazy about this show, including me.
I disagree.
I fall into this thing. Like, there's no ending that wouldn't have left people upset.
Dude, I totally disagree with that.
They should have just done another season. I mean, Jesus. I think they rushed everything. That final season was 6 episodes. They wrapped up every storyline in 6 episodes. They left so much off the table.
Agreed.
But the thing about
Jon
that is,
Snow being a Targaryen never meant anything.
No, that's accurate. But just remember one thing about Game of Thrones, dude.
I'm so mad about
Game
it.
of
We're
Thrones.
digressing.
Every one of those episodes was a movie.
Yeah.
The
it
resources
was.
required to pump that show to be what it was and what people wanted it to be didn't exist. Like, even though they had so much backing and all that, it took, how many years did that show run on for?
Well, it went 8 seasons, so at least 8 years. But I know they
Really,
took
it was probably like 10 or
10, 10
or
yeah,
11
I think it
or
was 10
12 or
because they
something.
took a big gap. I think
Yeah.
1 year.
Dude, that show has been going on for a lot. You can't just jump into a new thing like Lord of the Rings, for instance. It's, and I tell you what, I'll cut it off. I know we're going to go into this. Everybody's going to disagree. It could have gone a million different ways. What happened. The new show hopefully is a new start. We'll see if they can build up a whole new story. And
Well, it's a prequel.
yeah, I know, but it's a whole new story though. It's all new characters, different time frame. When you talk about time relativity, I mean, if it's before or after, it might as well be a new story, just like Star Wars.
Yeah, it should be good. I'm knowing me, I'm gonna end up watching.
You're gonna watch it.
Yeah,
all right,
of
so
course
let
I
me.
am.
Of course, we're all gonna watch it. All right, so let me give you what I'm watching. I think I mentioned this last week. I think I use as my example, but it's very relative right now what's going on with basketball. I watched the season finale of Winning Time, and I'm not even going to say, I'm just going to say first off, the show has just risen and risen and risen as far as how entertaining it is. Some of the things were not factually accurate, I found out. Some of them were, some of them weren't, which I'm not entirely huge on. Like, they definitely they dramatized some of the things that happens, and kind of went a lot of different directions, but ultimately the show is fucking awesome. And it also is taking place right when the Celtics are in playoff basketball tonight. I think is game 7, right?
By the time this comes out, the Celtics-Bucks series will be over.
Yeah. So we're all watching intently on that. And I have to say, as much as I've enjoyed watching that, I think I had I was waiting, it was like the show I've been waiting on every week, Winning Time. And it was a really cool experience to watch a season unfold, but have all the background live action stuff be also adding to the narrative of the season. It was better than watching a real basketball season, if that makes sense. But it was the same because I didn't know what happened in the end. I didn't know if the Lakers, I didn't know what the hell they did. If they won that year when Jerry Buss took over, I didn't know if they made it to the playoffs. I had no idea. So it was all new to me. It was like watching a season of basketball, but with live action drama, and it was electric. I recommend it times 10 to anybody listening. I think last week I gave it like a 9.2 or something.
Yeah,
You're sticking to that?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Yeah,
Cool.
I would actually agree that that might have even been slightly too high. I can't change it now, slightly too high, because I didn't like how they changed some things about the actual core story of what happened.
Gotcha.
But,
Well, yeah, they have to dramatize some stuff, and they have to make it a little surprising for people who already know the ending. Because I'm sure there's people who know all about that Lakers team that why would they watch the show if they already know the story?
right, but here's the problem.
So they got those some.
Here's the
twists,
problem with that, right? Do you know what happened in that season of the Lakers when Jerry Buss took over?
I know that they went back and forth with the Celtics for years over championships.
Right, but this specific year, it
No,
only
I
takes place.
don't.
The whole thing takes place in 1 year.
No, I don't.
You don't, right? So when you're watching that, you've never seen, you don't know what happened in the past. You have no idea what went down with that team. You're going to go watch this show, and for the first time in however many years it's been, 30 years, you're going to actually hear this story. Everything you see in that show, you're going to think is real, or you're going to have some emotion towards it being real.
Mm-hmm.
So they're telling the story, but they're changing it so much that it's almost giving almost like, I don't know, it's fresh in everybody's mind right now, but it's the wrong sort of meat and potatoes. I don't know. It's an opinion.
I'm gonna check it out because you've been yelling at me to watch this show, and it sounds pretty fun.
I think every time because we've been watching a lot of shows on HBO lately, and every time I open HBO, I obviously get served the trailer for this.
Yeah, it's the big banner.
And it's not up my alley in terms of I'm not a big basketball guy, but I think from what I've seen and what I've heard, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to watch
play
it.
basketball.
Yeah.
Well, it's so much more about the drugs, alcohol, and sex that went on to build the team, and Jerry Buss being what he. It's also, you gotta look at the acting squad. That's the thing. They have literally an unbelievable cast of actors. I mean, just to see Jerry Buss be played as what's his
John
face?
C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly
Yeah.
is a gem. I think it might be his best role ever outside of Step Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna check it out because you've been talking about it for so freaking long now. Anyone else got anything they want to? I mean, like I briefly said it, but Stranger Things this is gonna come out next Thursday. Stranger Things will only be a couple weeks away from then. I am just so excited. It's been over 1,000 days since season 3 of Stranger Things came out. So
that's actually fucked up because I feel like it was like 3 months ago.
No, it
feels like 3 years ago.
It was 3 years ago. It's 2019.
I think COVID just was like a time warp.
Well, that's what it was. Is they didn't want to rush. They didn't want to. They like specifically said they did not want to rush the production of the final season. So that's why I got pushed back so far.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm excited. They're doing a time jump though, because it's not going to make any sense if they're still like in middle school. I know they're doing a time jump, so it'll be cool.
And I know I mentioned it during lunch, but for all the people out there listening, and if anybody likes food shows, Somebody Feed Phil, fantastic show. The co-writer of Seinfeld, Phil Rosenthal, is the main character, the star.
You're kidding me. That's why he's relevant. I didn't know that. I was watching it and I kept thinking they keep on pushing. Let Somebody Feed Phil. I'll be honest, I personally did not find him that funny I didn't think he was anything crazy good. Like he's a good show host, I guess. Like it's fine, but like I didn't realize that. I was curious why so many people were buying into it or why he even had the ability to do it.
Well, I'll be honest, the first season when I watched it, however, I think it was a couple of years ago, I wasn't a fan. I honestly wasn't. I thought the production value and the places they were going and the food they were eating was awesome, but Phil as a host was not a massive fan. And then I watched season 2, and then I watched season 3, and
that's what I've seen, by the way, season 1. So that maybe I need to.
I think he's kind of he had to like kind of find his role as a host, versus someone who was behind the camera before writing. Yeah. So, give and take. But again, that comes out at the end of May. I would definitely recommend watching it if you're into food stuff. Anyone out there?
Somebody Feed Phil?
Somebody Feed Phil.
What platform's that on?
Netflix.
You really haven't seen you haven't seen it like advertised?
I don't do a lot of food shows, I'm going to be honest. I
fucking love food, dude.
I like the closest thing to food shows that I get into is I'll watch like Hell's Kitchen or MasterChef. But then my issue with that is, first of all, I love Gordon Ramsay, but like whenever I watch one episode and like start a new season of Hell's Kitchen or MasterChef, I end up binging like the whole season. Like, it's the only thing I want to watch.
Oh yeah.
I can never just watch one episode. So it's great. So I might have to check this out because I feel like it's more of like a
travel food show.
Yeah, so it's not like something that's like a continuous thing.
It's not people screaming at each other in the kitchen.
Gordon Ramsay is electric. I watch everything he does. He's my favorite chef in the world.
He's the best.
I also watch Fuck That's Delicious, which is a new season out on Action Bronson's.
It's like a PG version of Fuck That's Delicious.
Okay.
Without Action Bronson and
his crew.
His crew. Yeah.
Big body.
Big body best.
Big body best.
All right, that's gonna wrap up What Are We Watching? And we're going to move into the podium. Today's podium, we're going to be doing the podium of Sunday/lazy day activities. I'm guilty as charged when it comes to sometimes just turning my phone off and just upside down and just wasting away an entire day. I love doing it sometimes. I think it's necessary sometimes. So I'm going to go first for this one, then Will, and then Josh. And for me, my number one thing is going to be binge watching movies, but very specifically older movies that I've seen before. And the reason for this is it makes me I feel like I don't have to pay attention and I can just shut my brain off and just go to a different place. Like every time, like for example, a couple weekends ago on a Sunday, hungover as shit, I needed to just like die in my bed. I watched like 6 Pixar movies and like it was perfect. I just went to another planet and it was awesome. Like I had seen every single. I think one of them I hadn't seen, or 2 of them I hadn't seen yet, but it was great. It kind of like brought me back to my childhood, and it was just I was in my happy place.
I mean, Pixar is electric. Everything they do is good.
I feel that.
But just like binge watching through movies, specifically movies that I've seen before, that's like one of my favorite lazy day activities because you don't really have to pay attention that much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I Love You Man, Superbad, and Pineapple Express. I got any of those 4 movies on, nothing else matters in the world.
Holy shit. That's an all-star lineup right there of movies. Forgetting Sarah Marshall doesn't get enough credit.
Seen that.
It's like brand new. They just put it on Hulu too. So It's like all time. Jason Segel is. I mean, he's like in like I Love You Man. He's in like 2 or 3 of those movies, maybe. But
I think he's in every one of those movies.
Yeah.
No, he's not in Superbad.
he's not in Pineapple Express. I don't think. Oh no, maybe he is.
No, he's not.
Okay,
No, he's not.
so take that back. But
He's in 2 of those movies.
I feel that you kind of stole mine. Mine was 3 to 4 movies queued up, like pre-queued up, like you know what you're gonna watch. But I also had like a 2-part one there, where like a themed cocktail or like a drink to go with whatever you're watching. So last weekend, my girlfriend and I, in light of the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial controversy, we watched the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh, hell yeah. I've done that before, too.
And we made a drink called Pirate's Booty. And I'm not a rum guy, so this kind of turned me on to rum a little bit more. But, yeah, I would say like just kind of like a food or drink pairing to go with whatever you're watching if you're watching something specific like Pirates of the Caribbean.
I mean, that's also an electric movie.
Yeah, I've done the bit. The thing with those is like once you watch that first one, you want to watch the second one, then you want to watch the third one and see how it ends. Like it's just I've never seen the fourth one actually.
Neither have I. No,
I never will either because I think the first
It's fucking great. They're all great.
The first 3 are such a solid trilogy that like it's just I don't need to watch the fourth one.
Wake the fuck up, Makari.
It came out like 10 years later. I don't know watching that shit. So, Will, do you want to take that as your pick? Like,
yeah, well, because I had like 3 to 4 movies, but then like the second part of that was like a themed drink or something.
So like making it part of it. Yeah, that's a great idea. Josh, let's go with your first one for Sunday/lazy day activities.
I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of those activities. My personality is like completely sporadic as far as like doing stuff. In fact, if I'm not doing anything, I'm like almost like I don't know what to do with myself. You know what I mean? So. And if I was to take a lazy day, if you want to consider it lazy, even if I'm lazy about it, I'm still into it, which my number one.
I know what you're going to say.
What?
Lego building?
No, dude, that's backbreaking work. No, that's
it's also expensive work.
Yeah. I mean, I can build like a $300 Lego set in at least, in like one day. So it's like it's cheap. It's like expensive kicks.
Yeah, that's like a Sunday activity.
Yeah, but
like you can't buy a $300 Lego set every week.
Yeah,
true.
Unless you just buy one and then break it every week.
I mean,
and rebuild it.
You can start getting Lego sets on a firm and just start paying them off in advance.
Paying for, baby.
It's like, all right, so I was wrong. What's your pick then?
100% gaming. I've always been a gamer. Mm-hmm. I've never been an MLGer. I don't claim to be like the best at any game except Gears of War. Gears of War is an all-time game for me. But ultimately, just like for me, and I'm not really lazy about it. I'm always intent on what I'm doing.
Yeah, I had video games on my list, but I think it's a very specific type of video game. Like when I'm going for a lazy shut my brain off day, because I don't want to be playing it competitive when I'm trying to. Relax, like if you get me in a Minecraft realm, holy shit.
See, like I don't do well with that. I don't do well.
Really?
Yeah. I don't do well with that.
Did you guys ever? Sorry, this is kind of not digressing, but did you guys ever play RuneScape?
I played World of Warcraft. No, RuneScape.
All right, I'm just a giant fucking nerd then. Because I played RuneScape like up until I was like 22.
I knew a lot of people that played
RuneScape's huge.
I knew people who played Guild Wars. I knew people who played that. Most people like are diehard WoW fans.
Yeah,
WoW's
World of Warcraft.
Same thing. So, not really.
No, it's not the same thing.
I like games that are fucking high energy, man. I've always liked that. And I don't like on a Sunday, I'm not lazy. Sundays, in my opinion, it's reverse. I like a day where you go like work out. I like playing golf is like my Sunday activity.
That's like a Sunday reset though. Like,
does golf count? Could that be
a
Sunday?
You can wait for around for your pick.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Will, go with your pick.
Second one?
Yeah.
All right. Second one is a stacked, pre-decided selection of snacks and eats. And this does not have to coincide with your movie. But more specifically for me, I need a fresh jar of Grillo's pickles because I fucking love pickles. This is a new love for me, actually, as of like 6 months ago, pickles. I hated pickles until I was like 26 years old. So I don't know if you guys have had Grillo's pickles or you like pickles. They're a little expensive, but they are the best pickles on the market. And Grillo's, if you're listening, fuck you for only distributing the ranch pickle chips to the South. I would appreciate them in my Stop and Shop down the street in Manton.
Order them online.
I don't think you can order pickles online.
Oh,
yeah, you definitely can. You can order anything online.
The pickle man. I met the pickle man out in California. He does like 500 different types of pickles.
I'm going to hold you to that, Colucci, because I don't know if you can order Grillo's online, though.
Look it up. Look, I don't know. I'm willing to bet $10 on it.
If that'll buy me pickles. So
Done. All right, so Will, having a lineup of snacks going. For me, lazy day activity number 2. I'm gonna go, and this is gonna sound weird, like not like a lazy day activity, but it is for me. I like going like shopping or like to the mall or something. Like when I need to just like kind of like separate for a little bit, I like to go like I go to the mall and I just walk around store to store. I usually don't even buy stuff, but I just start looking at stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'll go to Best Buy and I'll look at like some new technology stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I sat in front of the Oculus Rift, the Oculus VR headset, and I was like just sitting there for like 10 minutes, like, oh, should I buy this thing or not? And like, I don't know, I just like doing that sometimes.
There's a 65-year-old mall walker inside of Colucci on Sundays.
Oh, I'm a mall rat, dude. There's
I'm
like no
not.
doubt about that. I love going to the
fucking
mall.
hate going to malls.
I freaking
Malls
love
give
the
me
mall.
anxiety.
I actually haven't been to a mall in about 7 years.
It's depressing now. There's nobody there. People go to the mall to exercise. That's
You
what
want
they
a
go to the
good
mall.
Yeah,
I-
mall walkers.
You
Yeah.
want a good lazy day? I got one for you.
All right, let's go.
It's your turn.
Amazon. Going on Amazon and just buying something. That's how great. Doing like a little research, you know, like
And hey, on a major positive, once that Johnston Fulfillment Center opens up, you could probably have your stuff same day.
Yeah,
there you go. So if you
absolutely.
want, so you know what, check this out. So you just with that one statement, you just blended the lines of what's real and possible and what's not. Andrew mentioned Lego building. If I could buy that same day, then I could do Lego building. If I want to get into Nerf that Sunday and I want to just blow some Nerf bullets over the house, then Amazon, baby, same day delivery.
Nerf?
Dude, I got Nerf guns.
Nerf guns are electric. Colucci,
Are Nerf guns like better now? Because I remember the ones that I used to get as a kid, like they were great for like 2 days, and then like they would lose all their power.
Dude, I got the Hyper Rush 40. I got it like 3 weeks ago. My girlfriend wouldn't buy it for me, so I bought it at Target myself. And it is almost paintball. Like that's how
are
close
you talking about the ones that have it's like the high powered ball that
it
gets
leaves
shot out?
fucking welts.
Yeah,
It's like 120 feet per second, but they're like rubberized like paintballs.
Yeah, I'm. Are they big?
No, they're like the size of a paintball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I just sit on my couch and I shoot it at the wall and it bounces off that wall and
catch
then
it.
off the wall.
I
behind
have
me and
one
catch
that's
it.
like it's like a little bit bigger. It's almost like the size of like maybe a little bit bigger than like a ping pong ball.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, and they're like, but they're foam, so they don't really hurt. But if you catch somebody, if you actually shoot at their skin like sub 30 feet, it stings and it's loud.
If you're standing in the sim right now and I shoot you from here with that Hyper Rush one, it'll leave a welt.
No way.
This
Really?
is like an airsoft gun.
It comes
This
with
isn't even a
with
Nerf gun.
fucking protective glasses in the box.
I mean, they always have to.
Yeah, they always have to.
Yeah, but if I buy that, if I have a kid and I buy that for my kid gonna walk around the house, shoot me in the dick with it, and I'm gonna have dick welts from a Nerf gun.
Were you an airsoft kid?
Big airsoft kid, big
we-
paintball kid too.
Me and Josh were huge into airsoft when we were younger. We used to play massive wars around the house. It was awesome. Outside, of course.
We used to play airsoft in my basement, and then my mom said no more of that because my friend shot me in the face and the bullet lodged into my skin.
Well, you're playing way too close
I was gonna
quarters
say,
there.
your parents let you do that. What about all the thousands of BBs that were all over the floor?
Yeah, that was another issue. Is that
Yeah.
my parents
Yeah.
are still finding BBs to this day, and my parents have a lot of like nice, expensive art around their house. And like they have this huge Jasper Johns painting in the basement, and there's still a bullet lodged in the Jasper Johns painting.
Do they know about
Sorry, Mom
My parents got pissed at me when they found BBs out in the yard.
it? Yeah.
and Dad. Sorry, Dad. Too sorry.
If we didn't use the biodegradable ones,
I
they
did
would
use the
get so
biodegradable
mad.
ones, and that still wasn't good enough.
Yeah, no, I don't know why we decided to play in the basement, but
You got to wonder if those bullets were actually biodegradable.
No, they were. The original ones weren't because it was so new when we got into it. But South Park did an episode on. I just watched the other night on airsoft.
No
You ever-
way.
It's a funny. It's
I must
so
have missed
funny.
this one. I
Oh
gotta
my
go
god!
back and
It
watch
just
it.
reminds me too of like the energy when kids find airsoft. They get obsessed with it. It's like
so fun.
because it's more real than Nerf. You know.
I used to buy them online, and they would like come in the mail. My mom would be like, "What'd you buy?" I'm like, "A gun."
Dude, taking an airsoft BB off of the knuckle was always the worst because it would instantly start bleeding if you weren't playing with
Yeah.
gloves on because it would break the skin so easily. But yeah, so Will, let's round it out with the final round.
Last one.
Yeah.
So my third one was actually going to be Legos, but I was like, that's not realistic because, again, like I'd run out of money doing Legos every Sunday. So my third one is actually Yahtzee.
Yahtzee.
And I don't know if you've heard of Yahtzee, but it's my favorite game ever. And it's just a basic dice game. You just roll dice and you record your score.
I know what Yahtzee is.
You know what Yahtzee is?
Yeah, we had to.
Do you hate Yahtzee?
In high school, the only reason I have a negative tone to Yahtzee is in high school I took a coding class and we had to code a game of Yahtzee.
Well, I don't give a fuck about your coding class. Yahtzee's
Well,
Yahtzee is the best fucking game.
I made the best one ever.
Great, Will. That was a that was so accurate. That's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I will accept no hate on Yahtzee.
Yeah.
It is the best game for Thanksgiving with the family.
Is that monkeys?
No, it's not monkeys.
Dice.
It's dice.
What's the monkey game?
I don't know. The monkey game.
Monkey in a barrel.
Oh my god, with the red monkeys and you connect them.
Yeah, dude.
That game was.
That's what I
that
thought.
was
Where
gas.
you get the
That's-
monkeys all in the bin.
No,
and
this
you-
is like
No.
this is like a felt board, and you shake the die, and then you roll it out, and then
And you like choose.
and if you
which
get a
one to
Yahtzee, you yell Yahtzee, and then
That sounds like a game from the 1920s.
It
to me.
is.
well, 1920s, 1820s. I'm about it. Fuck Colucci's coding class.
Hey, I made the best damn Yahtzee code in the world, dude. I was awesome at
Yeah,
it.
and it probably came right from the guy next to you.
No, I didn't cheat. Actually,
Colucci airdropped his CAD file over onto his desktop.
matter of fact, I actually was understanding the code. It was the kid next to me who used to cheat off of me. It was bullshit because like he didn't do shit, and then he would take all my code. In college, though, a different story. But we won't get into that. I don't want to get in academic trouble. All right, my third.
What are they going to call you up and pull back your diploma that you never got?
Well, I got a 1.6 that semester anyways. So it doesn't matter.
Can't do much worse than that, I guess.
No, you can't. You can't. I had to change out of computer science. So let's go with my third one. I'll take it. I'll take puzzles. I don't think I've ever finished a puzzle in like 10 years, but there's been a lot of times in the last like couple years where I have a couple puzzles around my house and I'll start one and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to finish this puzzle. And like an hour later, I'm like, oh, I'm good. Like my brain hurts now. I'm out and I'll never finish it. Matter of fact, I have a Pirates of the Caribbean Jack Sparrow puzzle that I've yet to complete.
Can I borrow that? I'm a big puzzle guy.
I'll give it to you. I'll just give it to you if you can promise me you can complete it.
I'll complete it. We have a growing collection of puzzles from COVID.
I have like I think I should have every piece. Yeah, I'll bring it in. I'll give it to you.
I can't even dream of a world where I can actually focus and enjoy doing a puzzle.
I think they're fun.
It's nothing against you or Yahtzee or anything like that. I just
It's okay. Fuck Yahtzee. Fuck puzzles. fuck Will.
no, but definitely fuck
Yahtzee is
Colucci's
fun,
coding
though.
class. That's
I could literally care less about his coding class.
Will's found a little bit of his little app bug over there. I like it.
Well, I also found the string to pull with Will. It's just shit on Yahtzee.
I have no part of that. By hearing plugs or whatever you call them.
Yeah, Will.
Josh, you got a third one?
For my lazy activities?
Yeah.
Well, you're picking. So, I mean,
Or Sunday activities. You can go golf. Golf is a good one.
I feel like it's like corny if I go golf. You know?
What about like a good, like, would you like wake up and like make a nice big breakfast or something like that?
I literally just took the words out of my mouth. I love to cook. Everybody knows I love to cook. And I did Mac Eats and everything, like, which I'll explain, I'm sure, at a different point. But I love to cook, and the air fryer has definitely made cooking a breakfast infinitely easier than it has ever been. So when I cut up like a russet potato, has to be russet. I can do cubed. I can do, I can do
Circles.
Yeah, circles. I can do all sorts of things, and I just throw them in the air fryer. It gives me like perfectly crisp and beautiful golden brown hash brown potatoes, whatever. What are they called?
Hash browns?
No, the
Home fries.
home fries. Yeah,
Okay, there you go.
Home fries, which is a stupid name because a home fry, making it, the sound of it being a home fry, I could very easily just cut a French fry and it would just equally be a home fry.
That's
Well, I
made
think
at
it's a
home.
different type of seasoning, though. Home fries always taste different than fries.
But like, I'm talking about the nature of the word and where it comes from.
Well, I don't know the origins of home fries.
Well, it's home fry. So made in a homemade fries.
So then every French fry would be that.
Maybe it's because it's pan fried because you wouldn't have a fry later, but none of it makes sense to me. The point is I enjoy making breakfast. I like that, Will.
So that's a great start to your Sunday is to make a fat ass breakfast.
You really want to know one food? I love pancakes, dude. I feel like pancakes with maple syrup, like freshly cooked.
Kind of out on pancakes.
Dude,
but not
fuck.
Will is on has Colucci's fucking number today, dude.
What about waffles?
I'm out on waffles.
No. Fuck you. No, Belgian waffles is like my favorite thing ever. At the ski mount, we were talking about
Mountain
skiing at
waffles
lunch,
are definitely fire.
Dude, mountain rules, baby, dude. It's always sunny. Yeah, I know. I like waffles. I like
Okay,
waffles.
then you've redeemed yourself.
I still like a home cooked pancake that's like fresh and not coming from some greasy diner with like a way too thick mix, but a nice light mix, nice like light and fluffy Bisquick pancake.
A little bit of ASMR right
I like that you said Bisquick. I grew up on Bisquick.
Is that right?
Oh,
I did too.
Biscuits, waffles, everything.
Yeah.
Bisquick.
Bisquick.
It's quick.
See,
It's weird though, isn't it? Just flour. Like
I don't know. It's like probably like an all-purpose flour mixture or some type like
Something.
that. Yeah.
My issue is I'm always like such a mess on a Sunday, on a Sunday that I never actually eat breakfast. And by the time I want to eat, it's like 1 p.m. and I end up getting fried pizza food and stuff and it just blows
Mozzarella
all that
sticks,
out.
hot dogs,
No, I would never. If they
Chops.
had, if we had a,
chops.
If we had a
Cohen House pizza.
if we had a delivery to go place around here that did dogs, oh my god, I'd be £1 million. That'd be awesome.
You definitely could get that from DoorDash.
I don't know where I'm. Five Guys. Five Guys. They do hot dogs.
Do
Yeah, Five got hot dog for $643 delivered.
600.
Fuck Five Guys.
Your order of one hot dog will come out to the total of $123.72.
Dude,
Would
there's
you like to add a
fucking
tip?
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Would you like to add a tip? Starting tip, $16.
Dude, it's fucked there. Dude, you go, you get a burger, fry, and a drink. It's like $22, $23. You're like, Jesus Christ.
Anyways, what the
So
fuck
good,
are we
though.
talking about?
Well, that's going to wrap up the podium. We're going to go into some tales from the golf course. I'm going to get started with tales from the golf course because I remembered one today that's really funny. Josh, it's the $100 round with our friend. So I challenged my friend, I won't mention his name, to a $100 round of golf. Me and him at that time were like the very same skill level at golf, and we hyped it up all summer. Like, I think we were drunk on the beach one day, and like we were just like arguing with each other about who's better at golf. It was so stupid. And I was like, I'll challenge you, $100. So we did a $100 round. We were like, maybe after freshman year of college, we were broke as shit. So like $100 is a lot of money back then. And I trained all summer. Like Josh was showing me all these things. I was getting better. I was shooting great. And it came down. It was the end of the summer, right before we went back to school. And we played for the $100. And I completely melted down.
No.
I was such a mental midget that day. It was unbelievable. We played 18 holes match play. I went down 4 holes immediately. I was down 4-0. And I was like, holy shit, I'm going to get swept. And then Josh was on my bag. Josh was my caddy. And I absolutely blew it. And then I ended up kind of coming back. We were tied going into the 16th hole. And I'm on the green, and he's behind a tree. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go
No, he's
up.
not behind a tree. He's on another hole.
Yes, yes.
I'm talking like this kid. This is one of the craziest sequence of average shitty weekend golfers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
This kid was on a fucking different hole in the rough with a whole
Like a massive tree.
Yeah, he's separated by a full like evergreen forest.
Yeah.
Dividing where he has to get to the green.
And I'm on the green, and the match is tied. And this motherfucker, who's not good at golf, and he knows who he is, puts it beautifully over the trees, right onto the green, and it broke me. I was like, oh my God. Like, no, he
Shook
did
him
not
up.
just do
That was it.
And then he beat me on the putting, because at that point we were then even, so he beats me putting, and I lost that hole. Go into the next hole, do or die, to force a playoff in the 18th, and I just exploded.
Yeah.
And lost, and
That
it just
sucks.
sucked because I was talking so much shit. And
Yeah, well, when you're in college, $100 is like 530 racks. That's
I was
that's
depressing.
big
It
spending
is
money.
a lot.
It was
That's a lot.
depressing. I like came with,
But it was an event.
yeah, it was
we-
fun though. It was.
You were
super fun.
caddying for him.
I was
Yeah.
caddying for
Did
him.
he have a caddy?
Yes, he
Yep.
had our other friend caddying.
Gotcha.
It was really fun. Like we had a good time doing
Yeah, we had a
it.
blast.
But yeah, I completely melted down after, and to this day, like I know I'm better than him at golf, and so I'll challenge him again this time. $500.
OMADA versus.
OMADA versus
Rematch.
me versus him. Like that.
I don't think it'd be. I think you would absolutely pipe him.
No,
now.
I'd destroy him. He also
After
now,
today, what I saw in the
Yeah.
office, there's no way he would touch you
To split the switch.
unless you fucking broke, which you actually. Could
well, that's
do.
the whole thing. Is back then I was better than him too, but I broke. Like
The problem
I
is you
couldn't
didn't
handle
have
it.
you didn't have any fundamentals to fall back on. That's the thing is like that's what it takes is that when these pros have so much, the pressure is so high. Anybody doing anything with high pressure, the fundamentals are what you fall back into. Those are the things that you have to go back to that keep you focused, that keep you sane through the pressure. You know.
Yeah, it was a fun day, and I'd love to get it back out there with him, but unfortunately now he has a torn meniscus, so
Ooh.
it's tough for him to play golf, and he's too much of a bitch to get the surgery. Anybody else got a fun story they want to tell?
I've got one. For those that don't know, I worked at a golf course freshman year of high school, and was it though? Yeah, it was. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was. And the course was giving me only 4 hours of work a week, and for them, I'm not going to say their name because I'm going to speak negatively about them.
I'm pretty sure that's illegal too,
What is?
to only give that many hours.
No, it actually was. So one of the things I did was I tracked the hours, and I recorded almost on, I don't know if I did it on my phone because they had their like punch in, punch out thing.
Oh yeah.
And holy shit, dude, that was like one of the worst jobs of my life. But anyways, they made me pick the balls on the range. And for giving me 4 hours a week, and I think they were paying me minimum wage, so maybe it was like $12, like times 4 in a full week. Like
Yeah,
that-
plus like taxes taken out and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just basically hand you like a sleeve of balls and you're like, there you go. There you go, buddy.
Yeah, and here's the thing: I couldn't work the register because they didn't want to put the time in to teach me. So I would, and a couple of things happened with this course, but I went outside. They had me set the first time I ever did this. They had me set. It was actually the first and last time because I think I quit after this. But they had me do the ball washing. So like, little did you know that every course has like when they pick the balls, they're not just picking them and then re-putting them in the machine. You have to clean them before they go in.
Oh yeah.
So I did this, set up this whole contraption in the back. Well, whatever fucking happened, I broke the machine, and it was like a $5,000 machine that they had to get. So I literally, I don't know how I fucking broke it, but they had to call in a mechanic, and he had to come over, and they had to do a whole fix, and they were pissed at me. And at the end of the day, I walked off that course, and I was like, and I was only getting 4 hours of work a week, and to this day, that's the worst job I've ever had in my life. And there's actually something else that happened that I'll cover another time. But
That story gives me PTSD because I used to work at a country club when I was 13 or 14. No, 14, 15. And they would literally only schedule me to pick the range. And it was like 2 hours here, 2 hours there, 2 hours here. And I ended up quitting
Really?
the job because it was like I wasn't making any money. I weighed having plans and going out and playing golf over going out and picking the range for 2 hours. Because there was like other jobs to be done.
yeah.
Clean, members clubs, take care of the carts, wash the balls. So yeah, fuck that job.
You know what even sucked more? They gave me free golf, but I was too young to take a cart out. So at the time, I didn't have a push cart, and I had whatever bag of clubs, but I literally never once played a free round of golf there in a full summer of working there, and because they wouldn't let me take a cart out. I could take a cart out to go around and be the ranger on the course, but I couldn't take a cart out for my round.
Same thing. Cart dies out on the course. Cool. You can go take a cart and switch it out and pull the dead one in.
Yeah,
Same thing. Same exact. Yeah.
that's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, those first jobs are tough. Those first jobs are really tough.
I also they were free golf. Oh, but you can't play on the weekends. So it was unlimited golf, but you could only play during the week. It was
I hate
blackout
those.
dates.
I hate those rules.
was absolutely wild.
Yeah, that sucks. Will, you got anything?
Yeah, it's a quick story. Somehow, like, all my tales from the golf course revolve around other people, and specifically my dad lately. So I'm starting to think that I'm the least exciting golfer.
Hey, Dave's one of our biggest supporters. Thank you, Dave.
Shout out Super Dave, Honey Badger Dave, whatever you guys know him as. He has many friends of my friends. But yeah, so I mentioned it, I think, on the last podcast, but Raceway Golf Club, we play a lot, Thompson, Connecticut. This happened on the 13th hole, actually. So, you know how I mentioned the Snack Shack, and you can get the Mulligan, which is the nip beer, whatever. Don't want to digress. But it was hailing. So another hail story. This was back in March, so this was recent. It's a par 5, 13th hole, dogleg right. Dave hits a pretty poopy drive out there, I'm not going to lie. Then he hits his layup shot, so he's about 140 out. And I'm already up by the green by this point. I had a good drive out there. I put my ball up by the green. And I turn around, and I hear him hit, and I turn around, and the ball lands on the green and rolls in the fucking hole. So this guy, my dad, holed out from 140 in the hail for his first eagle ever in his entire life.
That's freaking awesome.
Not kidding.
That's so cool.
This guy, I don't know what it is. He just generates great golf stories. And I am like the lamest person on earth when it comes to golf stories. But he is just a content. I was literally so pissed because we were filming, like we were taking iPhone clips that day too. And it's like one of those things where like Colucci chipped in from the sand at Triggs the other day. The one time I didn't have my phone out and I like took my card up to the green. And this guy does that.
That's the worst.
Congratulations again, Dad. But
Attaboy, Dave?
You haven't ever hit a hole-in-one, have you?
never in my life.
I've never hit a hole-in-one.
I've been close, and I'm just waiting for that day because I know it's going to happen.
I've fucking been 1 inch from holing out before. I've been almost on the fringe of the cup, and I've never rolled out.
I try not to get frustrated because I feel like every golfer in their life is going to have a hole-in-one.
Yeah,
so your time is coming, my time is coming.
I
But
don't know about that. You think?
my dad almost had a hole-in-one at New England Country Club the other day.
I think you have to play a lot to say every golfer will at least hit one hole-in-one.
I feel like what are the odds? You know, like one in how many shots is going to be a hole-in-one?
But even like the greatest golfers, like what are the odds? You don't really know.
It's just it's sometimes it's just random. It's just playing enough that it happens, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just not something that you can get closer and closer to the hole, which definitely increases your chances. But ultimately, it going in is a very infrequent thing. That's just.
Yeah, I mean it's like the Pebble Beach thing. There's that hole at Pebble Beach, and like the what's it called? The situation is you have 1,000, I think, attempts at hitting a hole-in-one, or you get 1,000 attempts at a hole-in-one. If you hit it, you get like $1 million or something. Or if you don't get it, you have to spend 5 years in jail.
I think we did even more money when we talked about.
I think it was like $10 million.
Yeah, it was like 10 million.
It's some crazy number.
It was even higher than maybe even higher. It was crazy because you got to think about like what is the value of like, dude, fucking
5 years in prison. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. That's not like an easy trade-off.
But 1,000 shots.
What is it again? You get.
All right.
What's the hole? What is the hole?
So it's the par 3 at Pebble Beach. The downhill, it's like 110 yards. Everybody or like 120 yards. And it's like an A wedge in, or even some probably hit
Less
a long
than that,
wedge.
yeah.
And it's like notorious for being you can get tons of spin on it because it's below where you're hitting, and it's short and whatnot. You're using a high wedge, and the whole thing is if I give you 1,000 shots to hit a hole-in-one, and you hit it in 1,000 shots, you get, let's just for even some crazy number, $20 million.
Mm-hmm.
If you miss, or you just don't hit it in the 1,000 chances that you have to get that in, you have to spend 5 years in prison.
Okay.
Do you take the deal? Do you go for it, or do you not?
I'm not going to go for it, no, because I don't want to spend fucking 5 years in prison.
Your risk to
1,000
reward.
shots, though.
What about 2,000 shots?
Do I have to do it all in one sitting?
No,
like,
I
just
don't know.
Fire 2,000 shots off.
I never got that far. I mean, it's just a funny amount.
It is.
Yes.
Because from a money perspective,
I don't think you could.
From a
hit
money
1,000 straight
perspective,
shots.
it costs roughly $70,000 a year to basically house an inmate in a prison. So it would hypothetically be $250,000 over the course of 5 years. So the payout from that equation would have to be substantially higher, I think, for anyone to take it. And I'm looking at it from a purely mathematical standpoint. But if it wasn't like $20 million, my answer would absolutely be no.
Do you think you could do it?
That's tough to say. I mean, it's all theoretical.
If I gave you 2,000 tries at a par 3 that's 125 yards out, do you think you could hold out in 2,000 shots?
If I could do it over the span of
in one sitting.
I think my arms would fall off.
Yeah, I don't think.
I hit like 50 shots on the sim or like 70 shots on the sim.
But you're hitting like drivers. This is a chip. This is like I could pull my 5-iron out and putt this.
Do you think you could do it?
1,000,000%.
Okay.
2,000 shots. Matter of fact, if you want a good video out of this, at some point this summer, we should go to a range. We should go to a 1-hole, just find a par 3 that someone will let us do this at. And we should just come packed with like 100 balls that we can just recycle every 100-ball cycle, or whatever, 10 balls, however many it is. You just have people carting it back and forth.
Yeah.
I know I could do it.
That would be fun. I think we should do that.
I just think it's hard to pick the shot. Are you going to try to get it on the spin back, or are you going to try to roll it up?
You could try
Depends
every
on the
way.
hole, but
Depends
yeah.
how many shots you have.
Yeah.
I think it's 1,000 shots. You can't go to 2,000 shots. I think it's 1,000 shots.
Yeah, I do think so. I'm less confident because I know I've hit 1,000 balls before, for sure. Off of
100%.
Actually, maybe not, dude. That would be because remember, it can't be from 100 yards out. It has to be. Like, you have to do that on a par 3. So, have I played 1,000 par 3s in my
No,
life?
forget it. Forget that. Forget what you're saying there. Have you played 18 holes 10 times in your life?
Have you played 36 holes in a day?
Never. I don't have the...
I played 45 holes in a day, and let me tell you, your body is just not happy with you.
Well, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
My point is you've definitely taken 1,000 golf shots.
No, not 1,000 golf shots. Has to be on a par 3, and it has to be only the tee shot. So have I played a par 3 1,000 times?
No way.
No way, right? So technically, based on the math here, if you just go over my career as a whole, I still haven't. I probably have. If you want to do the math out, I've probably played like 500 par 3s.
But there's an advantage to playing the same hole over and over and over.
Correct.
Over and over
Different.
again.
I've also played par 3s that are like 250 yards long.
Yeah,
so it's like, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But, maybe, okay, so out of them, sub 150 par 3s, how many of those have I played? Because that's
Not
what
a
it
lot.
is. That's what that hole is. So maybe like 100. So I'm still, that's kind of crazy when you like put it out like that. Maybe I've played 200 of those in my life.
I think that's way too much.
Maybe it is. But either way, the point is I'm still on different holes at that range. I still haven't hit a hole in one. And ultimately, I haven't taken that 1,000 shots yet. So by the math, I still have a lot to go. And it's possible that in the next couple of years, if I got a hole in one, I probably would be under 1,000 shots, even on different holes.
It's fair.
It's a fair way to think about it. That's going to kind of wrap up the Tales from the Golf Course segment. Not much going on behind the scenes in OMADA. I know we're running a little long here. Josh is on his way down to Florida tomorrow, so we recorded this one a little early. This is going to be coming out as the PGA Championship has started. If you're listening to this on Thursday, then you can still enter before on the T-Box Talk podcast. If you want to enter to win a great Titleist bag and a couple sleeves of balls, you can just comment on our competition post. Other than that, anyone else got anything closing thoughts?
I got nothing. No.
No, I mean, honestly,
No, I mean, like we just recorded the other day, so like not much has changed in the last couple of days, but we're starting to roll out stuff onto the T-Box Talk podcast, which is really exciting. The Instagram page, which is really exciting. So keep following us along there. We're going to be doing a bunch of fun stuff there. But Nikki Shanks should be joining us the next time this episode comes out. The next time we record an episode, intern Nikki Shanks should be on. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, thank you so much for listening. Follow along on @TBoxTalkPod on Instagram, @TBoxTalk on TikTok, @OMADA Golf on Instagram, and our YouTube page, OMADA Golf. Get on our email list for some exclusive deals on the Tri-Light Push Cart. It is golf season. Don't want to miss out. Thank you so much for listening. Boys, thank you for participating, and have a great weekend, everybody.
And
Peace.
always remember, fuck Colucci's coding class.
Yep.
Fuck
Yep.
my coding class.
Fuck coding.
And break.
And yep. Pancakes rule.
And fuck Yahtzee too, all
No,
right?
fuck yeah,
no,
definitely
I fucking
Yahtzee.
love Yahtzee.